when you start to look at all the stats and the data on like the birth rates in the West, they're very low, like, 1.4, 1.5, in Canada and the States and stuff like that. We're not having a lot of children, but we're still having a lot of women that are having children out of two parent households, wedlock, however you want to describe it, unplanned. And this one kind of ties into baby rabies too, believe it or not,
Yeah,
Moth. It's
totally.
like, you know, a woman that's got baby rabies will deceive you. Oh, I'm on birth control. You can go inside me. It's safe. I'm not ovulating right now. Blah blah blah. And it's like, my dudes, you're on the hook for 20 plus years of BS if you get involved with the wrong girl and she has your kid. There's been stories about athletes who have been lectured in the locker room by the head coaches about, look, if you're going to go out and you're going to, of course, you're using condoms, but make sure you are in possession of the condom when you're done with it. Like you flush it, or you take it with you, or whatever it happens to be, because women have fished them out of the garbage and gone and done a little turkey baster and got themselves knocked up because, hey, you're a Division 1 athlete or whatever. You have to be in control of the birth. Like, you don't have any rights once your sperm leaves your body. That's it. Once it leaves your body and she's in possession of it in her body, that's it. She can do whatever she wants. She wants child support, no problem. She wants to abort the kid, no problem. She wants whatever. She can do whatever she wants. It's beyond your control. So you have to control what's in your control by being in control of your boys. I've heard various parts of the mano swamp encourage guys to go out and get a vasectomy. I don't agree with that. I think that's absurd and ridiculous. There's better ways to manage, the risk there. But, I also know guys that were in their 20s and they got a vasectomy and they're like, I don't want any kids. I don't want to deal with the risk. I don't want to think about it. I want to be able to sleep at night. I don't want to have any problems. That's an extreme way to sort of manage it. But, in the dating phase, use condoms, be in control of the condom when you're done with it. Like I said, flush it, take it with you. Don't leave it in the garbage. There's been plenty of stories that, and not even Division 1 athletes, entrepreneurs, even if you're a good looking dude, like there's any number of reasons why she might want to fish it out of the garbage and go and utilize it. And, don't fall for any of the, oh, I'm not going to bother you with this, or, I just want the baby, or, whatever. Don't, like, be mindful about this, right? Like, I think I told the story before where I had this gal that I used to work with in my late 20s when I was in the collection industry, and we went out to lunch one day, and she had announced to me that she was going to have a baby, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that you were pregnant. And she says, I'm not. I said, well, what's your plan? And she stared me square in the eyes, and she goes, I'm looking at it. And I was like, nah, it's not happening. it's really not happening. You can't be loosey goosey with stuff like this, right? Like, you want to have kids, good. Do it with a chick that's going to be a good mom and, is going to follow your lead, is in your frame, does everything that you say that needs to be done, and does it with enthusiasm. That's the kind of woman that you want to have kids with, not just some random stranger because you're like, oh, have a good night. We'll just have a big nut fest. Be very careful, because depending on where you live, it can make like Moff and I have done thousands of Zooms now, collectively with guys either together or separately. And it's like, there's so many stories that we've heard of these guys that it's like, and it's all over the world. It's not just in America, guys. It's all over the world, Europe, Russia, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, all over Canada. It happens everywhere. Okay. Women are going to be women. And once they have your seed, they will do whatever it takes to benefit themselves at your expense. There's always a winner and a loser in every single equation. So be mindful about it. It's not worth like 20 seconds of, or like, be mindful about what you're doing, right? Stay on your game.
Yeah, this is one that I think it goes beyond just using condoms. Like, I think we've established that. I think when guys hear this, like, oh yeah, I'll just use condoms, man, no big deal. But yeah, there was a story I remember. I think this was Drake, the rapper, and I think it went viral, or like he was with some girl, and then he keeps like a bottle of like a mini Tabasco bottle on him, and when he finishes and he in the condom, he goes and he pours Tabasco. And the only reason we know about this is because this woman tried to fish it out of the trash and inseminate herself and got a nice spicy surprise. So not only that, and man, like women hate this, that we know these things or that we're on to their plan. This also went viral a couple years ago. I don't think they're still doing it. It was either NFL or NBA, probably both, but they had this got leaked on like Twitter or something like that. There was a meeting where all of the rookies or like hopeful rookies were brought into a room in an auditorium, and they basically said, here's how to avoid getting trapped by women. Here's how to avoid getting trapped. Like, here's why you need to avoid these type of women. Here are all these stories. And then it went viral, and everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe these guys. It's like, how backwards are we where
Mm.
men are being shamed by saying, yeah, I don't want to have a child with a woman who is going to try sign up for support for the next 18 years, 20 years, whatever it's eventually going to be. I mean, people say, oh, it's like an 18-year sentence, but in a lot of cases, it can be forever. Um, so, yeah, man, I mean, a lot of guys won't listen to this just because they don't like condoms.
Yeah.
A lot of guys won't be aware enough of this, and they think it's just okay, and they're just in that moment. But yeah, man. I mean, I've been lucky enough to never have any legitimate sort of pregnancy scares, but I know guys that have done it. And I know guys that have gotten girls pregnant off one night stands and girls that they never were going to spend any ounce of time with again after, and now they've got to be in that girl's life for 18 years, 20 years, whatever it is. So yeah, man, this is one that's huge, that has major, major, major repercussions if these words are not heeded to,
And if you
for
get
sure.
into a relationship with a chick and you get to the talk, because, like Moff said, most guys are never get up in the morning going, gee, I can't wait to wear a condom when I have sex tonight, right? It's just not on our mind. We don't like it. So at some point you get to the conversation about responsible type of birth control. Um, there's way more options for women, but the problem is that the options that women have rely on them using them, right? Like hormonal birth control pills, for example, rely on her taking the pill. And I've talked to a lot of guys that are like, well, I thought she was on the pill. I don't know how she got pregnant. It's like, bro, she probably stopped taking it, okay, or wasn't taking it, or lied to you about taking it. So don't just take for granted that she's taking some form of birth control because it's convenient for you and you can do what you want when you want. There's like, if you get into a long-term relationship, my advice would be to get into a aura and a natural cycle combination. The aura ring tracks temperature, rises, and it syncs to an app called Natural Cycles, which you can pair on both, your phones or whatever. She can share the calendar with you, and you'll know when she's fertile and when she's not fertile. So, I mean, if you're planning to have a kid, you can use it to, get one past a goalie and score a goal. If, you're kind of in the phase of dating or the relationship where that's not on the table and you want to make sure that you're just not going to have a kid, that's one way to do it. I think it's FDA approved. It's proven to be just as effective as condoms, provided that the data is inputted correctly, which is based on wearing the ring. So if she takes off the ring, that's the only time that you're really not going to get the data. And it's a pretty good way to go about it. The other way I would say would be an IUD. They got hormonal IUDs, and they got the copper ones. You're probably better off keeping her off anything hormonal. So copper would be better, because hormonals, like, it puts her into a perpetual state of pretend pregnancy. Like, she just always thinks, her body always thinks that she's pregnant. And because of that, her mate preferences shift. So one of the problems that happens there is you get into a long-term relationship with a gal, she's on hormonal birth control. Maybe it's a hormonal IUD, maybe it's hormonal pills. You guys go and decide to go and have kids, you get married, whatever. You don't get married, doesn't matter, but she comes off the birth control, she gets pregnant, has a kids, and her cycles start to return again. And then her preference for what she's looking at changes, because she was in a perpetual state of pregnancy the entire time that you were dating. Her body's basically looking at you. I need beta bucks. I need safety. I need reliability. I need that type of guy. But what ends up happening is when women's cycle returns and they go through the ovulatory shift, they're, their preference for guys changes, right? Like when they're ovulating, their preference for higher testosterone cues, chiseled jaw, deeper voice, stronger, more masculine men, the alpha fuck side of the equation is top priority, right? And then when she's menstruating, then it goes over to, the beta buck side of the equation, a little softer. And she might mate select you because that's what she's on, because she's on hormonal birth control. But you might end up in a situation where she divorces your ass and takes your kids because she realizes that she's not attracted to you, because she comes off the birth control and everything returns to normal. So I don't like the idea of hormonal birth control for long-term relationships, because that sort of problem can come out of it. So you got to be really careful with it. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here, where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.